G'day guys. Okay, so I promised VSKY Labs I'd do a review of their FOXBAT, and well, I tell you what, it's one of the first aircraft that I had the privilege to learn in. It was a very interesting aircraft to fly, to say the least. Um, Comes in the light sport category. I flew that and the Vixen. Um, but most people would just say it's a toy aircraft. But look, it's a great aircraft. I had fun flying it. So here we go. We're in the VSKY Labs version of the FOXBAT, the A22LS, and it looks pretty good from what I'm seeing in this in their model. Obviously, this version has got the yoke style control system. I learnt in the FOXBAT with the Y stick. And then obviously later on down the track I flew the A32 Vixen with the yoke system. This one, as I said, it's got the yoke, so let's go ahead and shut the door. If I can find out where that is, there we go. So we can close the door off now. And let's see if we can remember how to start this thing. Alright, so firstly, I'm going to go down, turn our master battery on. We'll turn our avionics on. Turn our nav lights on. Don't need the strobes just yet. But that's alright, we got our avionics and everything on. Just give it a little bit of throttle. Now where's the choke? You're hiding down here somewhere. The variant that I flew definitely had a choke. So what do we got down there? There we go. Okay, so we'll turn our choke on. And that should allow us to turn our mags 1 and 2 on. And that gives us a clean start. Okay, so first thing about this aircraft, that startup was a little bit unrealistic. I'm going to be just blunt with that because it was a little bit unrealistic. When you're starting a cold dark FOXBAT, they usually choke and cough a bit. So VSKY Labs, if you can hear this, please fix that, because you need to, fix that up, in my opinion, because the FOXBAT did choke and cough a bit, as I said, when you first went to start it up. From there, we can then turn our internal lights on. Not that we need them during the day, but our autopilot. Oh, that's right. This one's got an autopilot. The variant of the FOXBAT that I flew didn't have the autopilot. We all had to do it all manually, and that was, it made it more fun, I guess, at the end of the day. So we can bring the choke back off. Well, that's actually quite unrealistic, that, because that only goes straight up and forward. You need, VSKY Labs, please fix that. You need to be able to adjust the choke manually instead of it just going backwards and forwards. You need to bring it back slowly on the real FOXBAT. That's another thing there as well. Now, for our parking brakes, obviously you got your trim. Now your trim adjustment, yep, that's good. You can adjust that, which is good. So as I said, your choke needs to be more like the trim adjustment, instead of just going, the backwards and the forwards thing. Right, so let's take our parking brakes off. And let's go ahead and have a look at the external part of this aircraft. Okay, I've still got to change that tail number to the first FOXBAT that I did my first solo in. The Aeropract 22LS logo. It's the right font. However, the one that I flew didn't have light sport aircraft written on it, and the one that I flew also had A22LS written on it, Aeropack A22LS. So just nitpicking now, I guess, at the end of the day, but from memory, that is it's a pretty good looking aircraft actually. It looks almost identical to what I learned to fly in. So they've done a very, very good job of the externals, and I'm definitely liking the PBR glare and everything on the textures. Now it would be nice to see in a future update, you know, to be able to open the fuel tanks, you know, and do like a, you know, a fuel adjustment to the aircraft. I don't actually know whether it's actually in the explain menu at the moment. I don't think so. So, apart from that, let's go ahead and we'll climb out. We'll taxi out. Alright, so let's go ahead and taxi out. Now I'm at Mackay, or Mackay. This is the scenery from C, D, and G. And from what I can see, these guys have done a really nice job of the scenery, but we're going to talk about that in a later video. But as far as this Foxbat goes, you know, it's looking pretty nice. I think they've done, you know, a half decent job. And the Foxbat, to be honest, it was a very easy aircraft to start. As you can see, I started that without the checklist, and that's, you know, one thing we were never taught to do. If there was anything that came of my flight training at Marina, we actually were told to actually use our checklists. But for the most part, it just came naturally after learning the checklists. It pretty much just remembered it from memory. You had the checklist on your kneeboard and just, you know, you kept that to there. So, I'm going to head out to the runway at Mackay. Because that's another thing too, the engine is supposed to warm up. You're supposed to be able to, you know, you're supposed to actually sit on the ground. You're actually supposed to wait for your engine T's and P's to come up into the green, and then you're supposed to check your mags and all the rest of it. So once we get here, like we used to, on the roll, we used to check our mags and everything to make sure everything was all sweet. So and as we were rolling to the line, we would check. Okay, we would come up, and we would park on an angle because it's an overhead wing and very, very hard to see out of. So that's why we would do that, and we would see any aircraft coming in from the passenger side of the aircraft. So from there, we've got our brakes on. We will close our brakes. Okay, so our brakes are on. Now, I'm just going to find our RPM gauge. Bring that up to 2000, like that. And then we're just going to check each mag. And see if there's any drop. No. Usually, when you're checking the mags, oh yeah, there's a little bit of a drop. It's not much, but yeah, it's about 0.1. which is pretty good. Okay, so we put our mags back on. Bring that back down. Throttle. Okay. Turn our landing lights on. And just make sure everything's okay. We've got half a tank of fuel. And that's good. So, just going down here to the run time. And we certainly haven't done 50 hours of flight time. So, VSKY Labs, you might need to check that one out as well, because we certainly haven't flown for 50 hours. This is my first time running this thing, so you should have a pretty, you know, good clock on it, that you know, records your flight hours and everything as well. So, from here, let's go ahead, turn our brakes off. Let's roll out onto the runway, and Mackay traffic, this will be my call sign 7557, so Mackay traffic 7557, lining up and rolling on whatever runway this is, because I don't know Mackay, so here we go. So there we are, whatever runway. That's pretty good, isn't it? I guess I should have, you know, seen that before I checked it. So we can take off flapless in this aircraft. And as you can see, the FOXBAT gets off the ground pretty quick. And once I was up, I liked to just back the throttles off a little bit, because the real aircraft, you can only run at full throttle for a set amount of time before you start doing damage to the engine. So on climb out, it was okay. So from what I'm seeing so far, it looks like it's a pretty good aircraft. Pretty good model. They've actually done, you know, modelling very, very well. So in all truth and honesty, there is a few things that I think need doing as a former pilot of these things. Obviously I don't fly them anymore. But let's climb up. There was another user too that commented on a video that he said it was very sluggish to gain airspeed. Well, I can also definitely say that these aircraft did take their time to reach your desired airspeed. That's just because of the engine. It's only a 4-cylinder Rotax engine, so you're going to, you know, find that it's going to be a lot slower than all the other planes, especially if you've, you know, been flying airliners or Cessnas and all the rest of it. The only high side was the drag races we were able to have at Moorabbin. The FOXBAT always used to get off the ground quicker than a Cessna. And that was quite interesting, because I would have thought the Cessnas, you know, being a more high-powered aircraft, would have, you know, beaten us off the ground, but because the FOXBAT's light, it can get off the ground. It only has a takeoff weight of 600 kilos, and yeah, you can, you know, short field these things all day long and have a lot of fun doing it. So we're going to climb up to, I reckon we'll go to 3,000. So we're at 2,000 at the moment, just passing 2,000. We're going to go up to 3,000. Obviously, I want to get up because I want to have enough altitude to recover. If this doesn't work out, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try a little bit of stall practice to see what the stall characteristics of this aircraft are. So 2,500 feet, on climb 3,000. So by now I would have, at Moorabbin, I would have already made it out to the training area. Now ideally, you want to recover a stall within about, you know, 300 feet or thereabouts. I tried to recover more quickly than that, because you don't want these things to go into a wing drop, because you will end up upside down. And trust me, I know, because it has happened to me in the real world. And I think I scared the absolute crap out of my flight instructor. It was quite funny. Because afterwards I said, can we do that again? And he's like, no, we can't. Anyway, 3.5. Alright, so let's go. Bring the throttle back. Hold the nose straight. Pull back on the stick. Okay, stall characteristics, here we come. Okay, we're going to stall. Here we go, holding the stick back. Just hold the stick straight. Okay, it's humming and vibrating, but there's no... It's a bit choky. But no, there's nothing doing. No, there's nothing doing there for a stall. So, VSKY Labs, I'm very disappointed with the stall characteristics of this aircraft. So let's hold the nose up. We'll come straight up. Yeah, nah. The stall characteristics of this aircraft are pretty poor, actually. So let's turn back to the field. Yeah, but pretty much, I'm pretty disappointed with the stall characteristics of the aircraft. So, we're going to head back to Mackay. And, yeah, so the stall characteristics, guys, you need to really update those stall characteristics. Because when you go, you back off the throttle and you do all that, you're supposed to be able to stall the aircraft. The nose, you're supposed to drop and you're supposed to start dropping, and you're supposed to be able to go full throttle and then, you know, recover the aircraft. There wasn't even any signs of a wing drop there, which was, I thought, pretty poor. So I think, guys, you need to do a little bit more work on this aircraft. I'm going to be critical with these reviews, because especially when I learned how to fly in this aircraft, and it's really disappointing to see there's not really much, you know, as far as stall characteristics on the aircraft goes. So, especially in X-Plane, because most of the aircraft you can, you know, even the default Cessna we're able to do a stall in. So, I think for the most part you've done a great job on your modelling. There's a little bit of work I think that needs to be done, especially on the startup, because, you know, you obviously you've got you know, no engine warm-ups. The engine warm-ups on a cold day is just, it's very sluggish in the real aircraft. She chokes and coughs a bit, as I said earlier in the video, and yeah, look, I think that definitely needs to be done. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this little tutorial. As far as the startup and general review goes of the aircraft, I think they have done a really nice rendition, but it still needs a lot of work and all that. So we're going to leave it there. We're going to head back into Mackay traffic, FOXBAT 7557. We're going to be coming back in for a full stop landing on the main runway, and I guess we'll have to find out what runway that is, so I do my videos properly on the next time around. we are heading down. So it'll be about runway 15 or 16, I'm guessing. No, runway 12, what am I saying? Because I'm heading 150 degrees, so we're going to be heading probably around about 120 degrees once we bring this aircraft back in. Now, when I landed this aircraft too at Moorabbin, I adopted my own flight style. My instructor told me to back the power off and let the aircraft come in itself, but I always used to keep the throttle on just enough to give me that extra forward motion. So we'll put one stage of flaps out now. Yep, one stage of flaps is there. Okay, that's 2 stages of flaps. Yep, flaps full. And we're going to come in and we will be heading runway 12 or runway 13, 12 I believe. Okay, so here we go. And in these aircraft, you've got your nose. You've got to put your nose down to bring them in, just because they are a light aircraft, and just that too much. If you have too much power on, you're not going to be able to get it on the ground because it'll just float. And we're very blowy coming into Mackay here too, obviously because we're coming in near the beach, so we've probably got crosswinds and all the rest of it. I didn't bother checking the weather for this tutorial, but so nose down, okay. And we generally didn't have to flare, but apparently one of the tower guys told me one day when I was flying this thing that he said he's the only one that's ever seen a student pilot land a Foxbat like an airliner, and apparently it looked really awesome the way I flared and all the rest of it, so I thought that was pretty cool. It was a little bit tough, that landing. I could have done that a little bit better, but that's alright. At least we're down on the ground safely and we didn't crash it, so that's good. Guys, thanks for watching this tutorial on the A22LS FOXBAT by VSKY Labs. And yeah, I hope it's been a little bit of an insight into the aircraft. I really think that they have done a great job on the modelling. So if you like Foxbats, definitely go out and buy this one. If you don't have to, but it's not a selling point, by the way. This is just a general tutorial to let everyone know, that there is a new Foxbat on the market. We've finally got a decent Foxbat for X-Plane, and this is awesome. So yeah, a few things need doing. So VSKY Labs, I hope they can take wind of this tutorial and really take on board what I've come across in this aircraft, especially with the startups and the stall characteristics. So we're going to catch you guys on the next video. Stay safe, may God bless you all, and I will see you guys again soon. This is Captain RJ, and I'm off. See you later. Okay, so let's put our brakes on. Lights off, avionics, internal lights off. Mags off. Now with the engine stop, it pretty much stops the way the real aircraft does, because the prop doesn't actually keep spinning. It just, you know, stops because it's a 412, it's a 912 Rotax, so 412, where did I get 412? It's a 912 Rotax, so, yeah, pretty much, that's pretty much it, really. So, obviously we can put the flaps up now. And, for our fuel taps, we can turn them off. Not that we did that when we stopped the aircraft, but apart from that, that's pretty much it. So yeah, thanks for watching this this video and this tutorial on the A22LS FOXBAT by VSKY Labs, and I hope you guys enjoy this aircraft if you do intend to go out and buy it. Take care, and yeah, see you soon. Bye.